Hi, I'm Edna Kane Williams with AARP. Welcome to our monthly AARP Black Community Book Club. I am so excited about today's guest. Described as outspoken, prolific, and remarkable, Nikki Giovanni is one of America's most celebrated writers. She's authored 27 books and received numerous awards and honors. Nikki Giovanni has left an indelible mark on American history. Her much-anticipated collection of poems, Chasing Utopia, was just released and is this month's book club selection. So happy to have you here. Thank you for coming, Nikki.
Oh, thank you.
Now, I know from the book that Chasing Utopia or Utopia is a beer, but I'm assuming it's a metaphor.
No.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the title and how you landed on that?
It is not a metaphor.
It's not a metaphor.
My mother died in 2007.
Oh,
and
I'm so sorry.
Oh, thank you. And I was incredibly sad because I'm a mama's girl. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to cheer myself. I mean, one doesn't cheer oneself up losing one's mother, but to make it make sense. And I thought, oh, what I'll do is I'll have a beer for Mommy, because I don't drink beer, and I don't like beer, actually. And I thought I'll have a beer for Mommy. And I'm compulsive, which nobody, well, everybody knows me knows that. And so I thought, no, I shouldn't have a beer. I should go and get the best beer.
The best beer.
And so I went to get the beer magazine. What's the #1 beer in the world? It's Utopia. And so I literally, I called Keith, who runs a, and I said, Keith, you know, I'd like to buy a Utopia, you know, can I pick it up? And he said, we never get Utopia. It's expensive. I said, what do you call expensive? Well, it's $350. That's expensive.
Is that a case or that's one beer?
No, that's a pint.
Oh, my.
And so I called Bounty Hunter because they do everything. And they're like, no, Miss Giovanni. I'm Miss Giovanni. No, Miss Giovanni, we don't get Utopia. And so I started to looking for it. And it gets to be a funny story, and that's what we did. I finally was complaining on a radio station. And the gentleman who makes it happened to be, it was an NPR, and he happened to have heard it. And so he's calling in and says, you know, tell Dr. Giovanni I am sending one down. So
for her now.
Is that, I mean, and the glasses who drink it, because you actually sip it.
I would guess for $350 you want to drink it very slow, right?
So well, I've been waiting for my book. And I was last week in Africa, and I called my office, and they said, your book is in. So I said, don't open the Utopia till I get home. So I'm excited about it. So it was for Mommy, and that's what started. The book kind of opens into another area, I think, of our relationship, and another, you know, children watch. And
well,
so
you talk a lot about family in the book. It's very it's a family history in a way. You talk about your dad. You talk about Katrina, your mother. There's a lot of caregiving, which is ironic because AARP, we have a real focus on caregiving, and it's huge nowadays. It's almost, I don't know if you can call it an epidemic. Talk a little bit about caring for your parents. You did both your dad and your mother.
Yeah, I did, we call him Gus, my father Gus. I did Gus because of Mommy. And Gus had issues, and I'm working some of that out. It's going to come out probably in the next book or wherever it comes. I simply adored my mother. And having Mommy grow old was a wonderful thing, because when Gus died, and it was like 20 years that, for lack of a better word, I had her to myself. And so Mommy's a tennis, well, she's a beer drinker, but she's also a lover of tennis. And so we could go, we could go to the tennis market. We have a box in Cincinnati, and we could go and watch the, you know, and you're right close, you know, and could cheer for Serena. And I got to do a lot of things that I'm sure, you know, my father wasn't a bad man, he just had issues. And so Mommy got to do a lot of things with me that if he had had a better job or more money or been less crazy or whatever it is that one is, he would have done it because he adored her. But he was one of those people that had a hard time dealing with positive emotions. And so it was a pleasure. We took cruises. We cooked together.
There's a lot of, I love the term that it seems like your families are foodies. I couldn't tell whether you were a cook, though. I love the poem about the grits, because that spoke to me, because I can never get grits right.
One cannot. No, I'm a pretty good cook, and we are all foodies. Grandmother and my sister Gary were the best cooks. I mean, in terms of If you wanted a beautiful cake with beautiful curly cues and things,
they could do it. Huh?
You have to call grandmother or Gary.
Yeah.
If you wanted a good grilled steak or fish or something, you can call me. If you wanted pig feet or chitlins, you call mommy.
And you talked about pig feet, and that brought back memories. So what was it like writing this book, and was there any inspiration, or was it just time for you to bring these memories to paper?
I think that all writers, we write from our experiences for what we know, but I think it's kind of important, and I read young writers sometimes, and you know that they shouldn't write what they're writing for right now because they don't know enough about it. They live through it, but it's like you ran a red light, but you really shouldn't write about that right now. You should try to think, now, why was I doing that, you know?
Right.
And I think that I'm 70, which I recommend highly. And I think that...
And you look great. Not that you need to have something special said because you're 70, but you look great.
But 70 is a good idea. And what you know at 70, you didn't know at 35 even.
Right.
And so, and I mentioned Gus had issues. I would have judged him differently at 35, and it would have been a disservice to both him and my mother. And so that's what, and to me and my sister. And so that's what you're trying to figure out. When am I ready to understand that love comes in so many different ways,
right,
and that everybody does something that they wish they wouldn't have done. Right.
Is writing about things now different in the day and age of Facebook and poetry slams and just the digital age? Do you feel differently about how poetry and writings are being conveyed?
I don't, but no. There may be some of the kids who do. I teach writing. I'm at Virginia Tech, and I teach writing, and my poetry students are writing poetry. I mean, they're doing that. Now, we do slams because slams are fun.
Right.
And so is, you know, jazz, and so is singing. You know, you get something out of all of these things. Right. But in terms of...
They're all art forms.
They're all art forms. But I don't think anything's going to take the place of a poem. Right. On a page. You know, I just don't think that that's going to happen.
I hope nothing ever takes the place of it. I hope that young people today slow up enough to enjoy artists and really cultural icons like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
I've lived with the name and the art of Nikki Giovanni all of my life.
Okay.
So I'm so delighted that you're here, and thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure.
I want to ask everyone to make sure that they get Nikki's new collection of poems, Chasing Utopia, and also don't forget to join us online for a month-long discussion about the book. We'll see you again next month. Thanks so much.